thank you for watching a video blog. Today from Tallinn, Estonia. So I will walk the stairs to see what's up there. I haven't been there yet, so sorry if I get out of breath. But let's go. So today I wanted to talk about how the civilized world will go extinct in just a few generations. Now I made another video blog you can watch right here, link down in the description, where I explain how dropping birth rates are a big problem for the civilized world. And they are the biggest threat to the civilized world. Because if birth rates are dropping, they will continue to drop. There is no reason to expect the birth rates to suddenly go up. Because civilization is not focused on big families. It's not focused on families at all. It's mostly focused on itself, maintaining itself. Or maybe maintaining an elite that profits from the people working in the civilization. Now people don't seem to realize that dropping birth rates are causing the civilized world to go extinct. They really think that's not a problem, that they can just continue everything, or maybe that robots will do everything. First they got the immigrants to do everything, and then later they say thank you very much immigrants, you can you know, go back. But the immigrants probably will also not have families, because they will be civilized too, and they will start to not care anymore about having a family. That's the problem with civilization. But civilization will dissolve, will not be around anymore, because it was built upon families. Families created civilization. And without families, there's no civilization. There will only be families in nature. Now you can see, for example, even a country like India. People always have this notion that India is super overpopulated, 1.4 billion people there, and they think that this will continue. They will have this idea that next generation there will be 2.8 billion Indians. They really believe that, because they're still in their old mindset that have been programmed to. That there is an overpopulation problem. But there is an underpopulation problem. There are not enough people to replace the existing population. And this is already a problem in the West. After the war, they had to get immigrants to do the work for them. And why? Because after the war, it was started to become normal to have smaller families. For example, my grandparents all came from families with 8 to 10 children. Totally normal. Nobody would say that this was harmful for the environment or whatever. It was healthy, and people wished you like good luck. It was great, amazing. Then my mother's generation, you saw already that families had 3 or 4 children, which is still okay, but it's replacement level. 3 or 4 children is replacement. And you could also see that in these days, in the 60s mainly, suddenly they had no workers. There were not enough workers to have all the jobs done. So the Dutch people that were born, they were in an easy situation. They could say like, okay, I don't want to do the more dirty jobs, simple jobs. I take an office job, more status, etc. And with that came also the ego of the people that were working these jobs. They thought that they were more important, and they started to think that work is important at all. And they start to build their whole ego around it, their income, their status. And suddenly, family became less important. So you see how civilization, the more civilized we became, the less it was focused on family. And that has one devastating effect, is that there will be no more families. Because once civilization really hits, once it will say, okay, this is now your life, focus around work, then that's the most important to somebody. And that's what these people decide to think it's important. Because there are other ways. You can think also, okay, I want to have a big family, but then it will become more like an extreme decision. But you can see that from the 60s on, the Western world started to die. And this will continue. Because now, also in places like Africa, where they still used to have more traditional family life, you can see that the young adults are also talking about, oh, finding a job, more important, studying, and the egotistic lifestyle also starts to enter there. And it means that also in those places where they still have high birth rates, that these numbers will drop also dramatically. The civilized world will cease to exist, will go extinct. The only people that will survive are natural people. Nomadic, hunter-gatherers, or people that are self-sustaining, self-sufficient, like Amish or Mennonites, or anybody that lives like that, they will survive. But the civilized world will cease to exist, will disappear. And I'm not saying that it's a probability, I'm saying it's a certainty. It's very certain, because you can see the trend. And it will not stop. Because I don't see in any Western country that people are in mass shifting towards traditional life, natural life. Not at all. It's becoming more and more egotistical and about the individual. And that means the end of civilization. Now, personally, I don't care too much about it, because I live naturally, I live close to nature, self-sustaining. I am going to have a large family, if God allows me to, and I will live nomadically. First I will live self-sustaining, and later on when, I don't know for what reason, but I might also live like a nomad, like a hunter, like a fisherman. That's my desire. But for all the people that still think that declining birth rates are no problem for their civilization, wake up, it's going to happen. And you can import as many immigrants as you want, but they will also become civilized. We've seen this also in the West, in the Netherlands. Like I say, there was, for example, Muslim families in my school, like 2 of them, a Turkish and a Moroccan family. And they had like also 6 or 7 children, like my family, because they were traditional. Now, all these children have maybe 1 or 2 children. So they adapted, even though they're still Muslim, they adapted to civilization. And their children will decide like, hey, maybe I don't want any children, maybe I take a cat or a dog, or I want to constantly travel. Maybe that's what they will do. And you see this happening. You can see that modern Muslim parents of my generation, so the parents that have children that are now 14, 15, 16, they see that the children are not interested in family life, let alone children or like more children. They care about games, digital things, like what's happening in Japan. It's the same. So eventually civilization will disappear because of civilization itself. It's eating itself. Civilization is a sort of self-hate, and it will disappear. And the only ones surviving are people that live naturally or self-sustaining, close to nature or nomadic. So that was for today from Tallinn, Estonia. I say thank you for watching and see you next time.